This is Teresa Weatherspoon, better known as Teaspoon, and you're watching Real Fans, Real Talk.
Live from the can. Vibe, you can.
This is Real Fans, Real Talk. Real Fans, Real Talk. We as real as you thought. Real Fans.
What's going on? Welcome to another live edition of Real Fans, Real Talk. Oh man, the summer is here. We are deep in the thick of things in this summer season. It's a whole lot of sports going on, a whole lot of action. I know we missed last week, so we're gonna double down this week. I got my brother back, fresh off the vacay. Let me introduce my co-host, my brother Eric Sanchez, aka Legend in Two Games. What's going on, man?
What's really good, bro? Yeah, I was mad that we didn't record last week because we've been rolling. Things have been going so smooth, but I had to take a little time, rest and relaxation with the family. So we back to it today, though.
Shout out to Hoopballer Scoop and Imani, because they was on the check-in. They was trying to get me to get Wheeler to co-host with me last week. They wanted to know if the Sanchez show was coming on. Yo, you gotta love our supporters, man. The way they go hard for us, man, there's nothing like it, man. So big shout out to y'all. We're gonna start the show off on a little bit of a somber note. I don't even want to go too deep into the sports before we send our condolences out to the family and friends of one of the upper echelon of actors of our time, Malcolm Jamal Warner. If you guys haven't heard already, he died while he was on vacation. He drowned. So we just want to start the show off by sending some love, prayers up to the family and friends of Malcolm Jamal Warner.
Definitely thoughts and prayers out to his family. Very, very tragic news when you sent me the news today. And then people at work started talking about it, man. It's tough when we get to this point in our life, Trip, where kind of the actors and people we kind of looked up to, when we see them pass away, it's kind of a harsh reality of how, fragile life is, man. So again, thoughts and prayers out to his family. We
grew up watching Malcolm Jamal Warner.
Right,
so, you know what I mean? So yeah. Shout out to Pooh. Pooh says, R.I.P. Malcolm Jamal Warner. Talk about y'all memories of him. He also did Malcolm and Eddie. Yes. I will give you two memories that I have of Malcolm Jamal Warner. One is the infamous Gordon Gartrell shirt episode.
I was about to say, yeah.
Shout out to our brother Sean Fontaine. Anytime I see that episode or he see the episode and we together, we both like, yo, this is one of our favorite episodes. But my man Theo came with the one sleeve all the way back here, one sleeve all the way down. You gotta love it. That and Malcolm and Eddie, man. I think Malcolm and Eddie was really an underrated show. But nothing but love and respect for Malcolm Jamal Warner. He's somebody who we've seen him grow as a child actor up until now, because he was still working up until recently. Pooh, you mentioned the Malcolm and Eddie. He also had the Read Between the Lines. Was Read Between the Lines with Tracee Ellis Ross? They had a sitcom for a little while. I know he was just in one of them Fox shows. He was just in. So yeah, man, you gotta love Malcolm Jamal Warner, man.
Yeah, like I said, it's tough. My most memorable, obviously, is that famous episode. You know what I'm saying, when the sister tries to do the shirt for him. But it's like I said, it's crazy. You get to a point in life where you realize, man, how much time has passed by. And you think back, that was over 30 years ago, that episode we're talking about.
Don't age us, Eric. Don't age us.
No, I know. But let's be real, because that's also the beautiful part of being able to get to this point where we at in life. We're not old men. You know what I'm saying? We at unk status right now. So, you know what I'm saying? And we cool unks at that. So it's always a blessing to be like, yo, I'm at that point where, you can have those type of memories. And then I think our supporters do such a great job of having them type of conversations with us when they do the comparison. Me and Will had talked about it a couple of weeks ago, because they were asking us about, the DMX era. They were asking us about, Pac's influence. And it was great to have that conversation. But again, it's also such a fragile reminder of like, yo, how quickly this thing could change, man. And it's shocking, man. You know, it's a lot of memories we can talk about with the show, but I still think I'm a little bit in shock, knowing that he was with his family vacationing. Shout out to Emrek, who's a great friend of the show as well. Emrek had actually posted the last footage that Malcolm Jamal Warner had posted on his social media when he was driving in the car, which was like, I think the day he was flying out. So it's a lot, man. But again, it's wow. It's thoughts and prayers to the family. There's not much more I could say at this point.
Facts. You know what? While we shout out to Cliff, happy birthday, Cliff. Salute to you, bro. If y'all we speak about Cliff every so often. That's our technical director, you know, when we're in studio. So big shout out to Cliff. Happy birthday. And Cliff says he also played Hillary's boyfriend on one episode of Fresh Prince. Absolutely right. I remember that episode. So many great memories. If y'all haven't already, man, go back and watch some episodes of The Cosby Show. Go watch Malcolm and Eddie. You know, Malcolm Jamal Warner has done it all. I'm gonna just one last thing I'm gonna say. This is actually, I always felt good about this. So on the later years of The Cosby Show, when Theo was working at the rec center, y'all don't know if you remember that, Eric. So the school that we know how when they show the outside of the schoolyard, that's my elementary school.
Wow.
Yeah. So that, like, whenever I saw that, I'm like, oh shoot, I almost had to beat somebody up at that flagpole.
Yeah, like I said, it's so many memories, and you know what I'm saying. That's being that was shot in New York, the connection, and again being a show that we kind of grew up on, and different time. You know, it might be tough for people now to understand what a show like The Cosby Show meant to us, where it's like you tuned in for it. You know what I'm saying? Like you locked in for it, and then you kind of grew up with the cast, and you had those like feelings of certain cast members in certain episodes. So again, it's one of them things that's very tough, and it's just a cruel reminder, man.
Exactly. So again, condolences to the family and friends of Malcolm Jamal Warner. Salute to you, brother. And of course, again, happy birthday, Cliff.
Yes, sir.
Hope you enjoy, my brother. We gotta link up soon, Cliff. And congratulations to your Eagles. They got the SB for best team, and it was well deserved. Okay, I said it. It's out of the way. Don't talk to me about it no more. All right, let's get to some of these comments, man. Well, I mean, we still gonna ask a couple people still want to shout out to Ron Charles. He says, first of all, I want to say R.I.P. to the legend Malcolm Jamal Warner, of course, who passed by drowning. We all grew up on him. That's a fact. And then Ron says, is this a make or break season for Kyler Murray? Yes and no. It is a great question. Here's why I say yes and no. Because obviously Kyler Murray was a highly touted, draft pick. He was supposed to be upper echelon. We haven't really seen the consistency that we thought we would see from him. We have seen glimpses. We've seen, little spurts, here and there, but we haven't seen that consistency. And he does have the weapons now. So, he's been in the league a couple of years. So yes, this is a make or break season. However, at the same time, 2 years ago, what was I literally just lost his name. That for the Seahawks, that played for the Jets. Went to Michigan. Geno, there you go. Mm-hmm. Geno Smith. I'm pretty sure everybody thought that career was dead in the water, and he goes to Seattle and revives his career, gets a whole new contract out of that situation. So I think there's always a chance, you know what I'm saying? Like you can always level up, obviously, as long as you're healthy and on the field. So I don't think he's like, this is the situation where if he doesn't play to what we expected him to play, he'll be out of the league the next season. I don't think it's like that, but it is about time, because we're well past the 3-year marker where we, what we like to give players to say, all right, well, this guy's a bust. This guy is going to be something. This guy's going to be great. And we haven't seen that from Kyler Murray. So, you know what I'm saying? So I'm on the fence with this one.
I think the reason I think it's a great question is to some of the same points you just talked about, where I don't think it's make or break. He's 27 years old. So if he doesn't have a great season this year, I don't think we're giving up on him yet.
Yeah.
By most people's account, 28 is when you start to hit your athletic prime. So you would think that he's going into his prime right now. But when you're the number 1 overall pick, when the team has invested assets around you and in you, you are expected to deliver. And again, number 1 pick, he's going into his 7th season in the NFL. He's on a second different head coach. At some point, Kyler Murray's got to start producing like the number 1 overall pick. Now, does that mean they have to win the Super Bowl? No. And that's why I don't want to say it's make or break. Make or break to me means you got to win it all. I don't think they're at that point yet. But it is a point where they've got to be able to compete for that division. They've got to make a playoff appearance. Because with Kyler Murray, they've only been to 1 playoff game, and they got blown out in that game. So when you're talking about you being in your 7th season, and this team obviously went out and got Marvin Harrison Jr. for you to give you an elite number 1 guy. And they try to go get offensive-minded head coaches to help you develop. At some point, you got to produce. And when you look at the division as a whole, this might be their best opportunity because the 49ers, we don't know what the 49ers are really going to be. On paper, they look great, but we know the injuries really caught up to them last year. Seattle's probably going to take a step back. The defense is good in Seattle. I don't know how good that offense is going to be when you consider they lost 2 of their top 3 weapons from last year. And Kenneth Walker, their running back, is always hurt as well. So really, for the Rams and the Cardinals, this is your opportunity to win this division and try to make some noise in the playoffs. So for Kyler Murray, I think that's what I'm looking at it as. I don't say make or break again because I don't see them as a Super Bowl contender.
Yeah.
But I do think in your 7th season, you have to start making playoffs. You have to start winning 10 and 11 games more consistently, especially when you were the number 1 pick in the draft. And remember, granted, it worked out for them because Kyler Murray has been better than what they had in Josh Rosen. Remember, they had a number 1 pick quarterback who they gave up on quickly for Kyler Murray. So you transition thinking Kyler Murray is going to elevate you to places that Rosen couldn't. Kyler Murray's only gotten you to 1 playoff game so far in 6 seasons. You need a little bit more from him.
Exactly. Another late bloomer, Jared Goff, who we,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? We kind of thought we with the Rams, like, all right, what we doing? Then
Remember Jared Goff. People forget Jared Goff. I mean, in terms of individual, yes, I would agree he's a late bloomer. Remember, he led the Rams to a Super Bowl early on when they had a lot of weapons around them. He just wasn't good enough to get him over the hump. That's why they had to make the move for Matthew Stafford. And then Jared Goff, like you said, now has turned himself into a legitimate Pro Bowl quarterback and a consistent guy. Same thing, but to me, Kyler Murray, one of the great comparisons, I don't think they're the same athletically, but I'm just talking about the situation, being the number 1 pick, going to a team that kind of had nothing and had to rebuild. It reminds me a little bit of when Matt Ryan went to Atlanta, because Atlanta had nothing for a while, right? They were coming off the Mike Vick fiasco, and it took them a couple years. And this was right around the time when Matt Ryan won his MVP, and Matt Ryan started ascending as one of the best quarterbacks. That could be the same case for Kyler Murray. Year 7, you're more comfortable in the league, you figure things out better, and again, now you have a legitimate number 1 receiver. Similar to, again, you look at when Matt Ryan started taking off, Julio Jones was your guy. You gave me a number 1. Now I can take off first. Kyler Murray might be in the same situation.
Yeah, I agree. Let me go to shout out to Ty Jefferson. Rashay Rice to be suspended multiple games after sentencing of 30 days in jail, plus 5 years probation for a role in 2024 multiple car crash. I hate having to talk about stories like this that have nothing to do with what's going on the field, because guys continue to make poor decisions off the field. I mean, the last thing the Chiefs need is to lose another wide receiver. So you know what I mean? Like, do better, man. That's honestly, that's all I can say in this situation is do better, bro. Like this don't make no sense that you don't work your entire life, got to this point, because again, there are thousands of college football players that never even sniffed the NFL. You got here. You're playing with the best quarterback since Tom Brady. Okay, someone who is a first ballot Hall of Famer right now. That's your quarterback. That's the guy you have throwing you the football, and you can't get your act together off the field. Just do better, man. That's all I'm gonna say. Do better.
I agree. I think the NFL and the NBA to a certain extent, they do a great job of trying to warn these young men of the pitfalls that come with the fame and celebrity and the money of making the league. One of the things they got to start implementing is the reckless driving, because it's really becoming a problem in the NFL. And Henry Ruggs might be the most notable guy, obviously, who's serving jail time. But Rashee Rice was in the same situation now. Last offseason, we saw the rookie from the Minnesota Vikings who had just got drafted 2 weeks after being drafted, dying in a car accident. He was right here from the Maryland area. So this is one of the things I think the NFL teams are going to have to start doing a better job with. I know these are young men who like to have a good time, go out. There was recent reports about Shador Sanders that's been stopped at least 3 different times so far this offseason for speeding in residential areas. The league and these teams kind of got to put their arm around these young men and be like, look, I get it. You got a lot of money. You got the nice car. You want to show off. I get all that. I understand that. But you have to understand what's at stake here, because Rashee Rice is very lucky that it was only just a 30-day jail sentence and probation. Again, Henry Ruggs is the prime example of how far left this thing can go, right? And again, we saw a young man last year die that was just coming out of the draft, die in a car accident, where him and his friends were doing the same thing. Late night, leaving a place, they racing cars on a 2-lane road, and they lose control of that car and flip over, and he dies. And so for Rashee Rice and all these young men, you got to understand, it's cool. You got the nice car. You pulled up to the scene. You showing out. You flexing. It's cool. But don't leave that scene now and decide, hey, I'm going to do 120 and a 45 just because I think it looks cool, man. It's way too much to lose. It's far too much at risk for a couple seconds of speeding your car, bro.
Talk to if you want to do 120, talk to MJ, see if he could get you a spot on his racing team and go on the track and do that. Don't do that on a regular highway.
Listen, in Vegas, they have a Porsche racetrack where you could do that. You know, and then if you want to just do that in a regular car, go to Germany, get on the Autobahn, go to Europe where there's no speed limit on the Autobahn. You know what I'm saying? But don't, like I said, it's not worth it, you know, for God forbid what might take place in those 5 to 10 seconds where you decide, hey, I'm gonna see how fast I can push this car. And then again, Henry Ruggs, I mean, wow, we know the type of future Henry Ruggs had, and
hello,
it was like that.
Hello, like yes, you're absolutely right. Perfect example. That's why I say get it together, grow up. You are here. You have made it.
You made it.
And the NFL can get you drivers, anything you want, you can get. Don't throw it all away, man. Don't throw it all away so you can go extra 60 miles an hour over the speed limit. Don't do it.
Yep.
Is Patrick Mahomes still best quarterback in the NFL? I don't even feel like I should dignify this with a remark. Okay, let's be clear. There is not a quarterback in the NFL that I would bet on over Patrick Mahomes. And you know Lamar Jackson is my guy. But there is not a quarterback in this league that I would bet on over Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I think there's some great quarterbacks in the league. I think Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, I think Josh Allen's great. I think the young man down here in DC and Jaden Daniels is great. I think Jalen Hurts is great. You know, you got a lot of good guys who are that next level of guy who are very good. But again, if you're telling me put money down on the line, I would never bet against Patrick Mahomes because he's shown us time and time again. And I know people be like, oh, well, they lost in the Super Bowl. Yeah, they did. They lost in the Super Bowl.
Is this why we having this discussion? Because he lost in a Super Bowl?
He was the closest. Keep in mind, he was the closest any quarterback has ever come to three-peating. No quarterback has ever been in the third Super Bowl as a 2-time champion with the chance to three-peat. He was the closest. There were quarterbacks who had got close and lost in a playoff game or a conference championship game. He got his team to a Super Bowl. The Eagles were the better team. You saw it. But if you look at even his playoff losses, I still come away from the games feeling like, yo, Patrick Mahomes is still that guy. It's just they played a really good team. When they lost to Tampa in the Super Bowl, their O-line was decimated, and Tampa just beat up their O-line. When they lost to Philly last year, Philly's defense just dominated the line of scrimmage, and Patrick Mahomes, nobody could get open for him, right? But But other than that, you can't really point to too many times where Patrick Mahomes has let his team down in the playoffs. So to me, he is still the best quarterback in the NFL.
I got 2 questions for you, Eric. And the first question is Travis Kelce still an elite top of the line tight end?
If you're asking me, is he still a top 5 tight end? Yeah, but I think he's right at like number 4, number 5.
Okay.
I don't think he's a number 1 tight end.
I'm asking you, is he the best tight end in football still?
No.
And there's no debating.
No, he's not the best tight end in football.
Okay, that's question number 1. Question number 2 is, what wide receiver did Patrick Mahomes throw to last year that was even a legitimate number 2 wide receiver?
None. I mean, we talked about Rashee Rice was supposed to be his number 1, and Rashee Rice got hurt like in week 4, week 5.
And he's not even a true number 1 wide receiver.
The best receiver on their team last year was a rookie, was Xavier Worthy.
Exactly. So that's
I mean, they weren't, we can't overlook what they were. Their running game never really got established. We thought with Pacheco coming back, their running game would be better. It wasn't.
He was hurt too.
Right. He was hurt, off and on as well. So they never got the running game they thought. Kelce slowed down, and that's to be expected. He's in his 30s, a lot of great football he's already played, but he slowed down. And like I said, Rashee Rice supposed to be their number 1 receiver. He went down in like week 4, week 5. So the best receiver on their team was a rookie. I thought, and even with all that, and again, Patrick Mahomes didn't put up the numbers that most people would like to see him put up. But again, show me the quarterback you trust more in a playoff game.
Show me a quarterback that you trust more in a playoff game with those weapons.
Right.
That's the real question. What other quarterback in this league do you feel like is taking those receivers to a Super Bowl?
I mean, you can make the argument that Josh Allen might be able to, because Josh Allen has done it with a lot less talent the last couple of years. But Josh Allen hasn't done it yet.
He hasn't been to a Super Bowl. So how can we say that?
Right.
You got to get there in order to say that. Who else? First of all, there ain't too many other quarterbacks in the AFC that have been to a Super Bowl in the past couple of years to even say that. So, and the quarterbacks that have been in the NFC, they've all had weapons. Jalen Hurts had Saquon Barkley jumping backwards over cats. You got AJ Brown, Devontae Smith. Like these guys have weapons. When they played the 49ers a couple of years ago. Yeah, Debo out there. Like these guys have weapons. Yeah. None of these guys. There's no quarterback right now that I feel confident enough that could take these core of wide receivers to a Super Bowl and win. Because last year they went to the Super Bowl with Juju as their best wide receiver, who's a 2 at best.
I mean, that's putting it nicely at this point.
Yeah, exactly. So
I mean, we can't question if Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL. I mean, again, this is a guy who has taken his team to 5 of the last 6 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
And those, again, out of those 6 years, the only year they didn't go to the Super Bowl was when they lost to the Bengals in the AFC Championship game in overtime.
If you
he literally might have been a player or 2 away from going to 6 straight Super Bowls.
Yeah. So if you swap the 2 best running backs, the 2 best wide receivers from the Eagles with the 2 best wide receivers from the Chiefs, does Jalen Hurts take the Eagles to the Super Bowl?
I mean, I'll take it a step further. If you just give Patrick Mahomes that offensive line and 1 weapon,
it's a
different scenario. You don't even have to give him the 2 best. Just give him the offensive line and 1 weapon.
My money's still on Patrick Mahomes.
It's number 15.
Yeah. Shout out to Devontae Harris. He says, do we have an issue with Jalen Hurts ranking? Hurts is ranked 9th on the QB list. Honestly, no, I don't. If you had him anywhere from between 6 to 9, I'm not gonna argue with you. It is what it is. I'm not. That's just my opinion.
I said when we had this conversation about the top quarterbacks, I think he is like number 5, number 6 at worst. He should not be any lower than number 6. If you want to put the obvious 4, Mahomes, Burrow, Jackson, and Allen as your top 4, I completely agree with that. I think that's a more legitimate case that Jalen Hurts probably should get into the top 4 because he's had more success than Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson as far as a quarterback. Getting the 2 Super Bowls, but granted, he doesn't have the accolades. Those guys are MVPs. He's not an MVP. So I get putting those guys ahead of him. But after that, I don't see who you can rank above him. And that's no disrespect to Jaden Daniels. That's no disrespect to Tua Tagovailoa or Matthew Stafford.
Maybe C.J. Stroud.
I would still put him above C.J. Stroud. I would put him. Jalen Hurts has done more in his 4 seasons as a starter than C.J. Stroud has done in 2. And it's similar to the conversation we had 2 weeks ago, where I think we had it 2 weeks ago, or somebody might have mentioned it during the Sanchez show, where there was a reporter who said Caleb Williams is way better than Jordan Love. How is he way better? I'm not. There's no way I'm putting C.J. Stroud, and I think the argument goes the same way here. I'm not putting C.J. Stroud over Jalen Hurts. C.J. Stroud has 1 playoff victory in 2 years. He looked really good his rookie year. Last year, he came back down to earth. Jalen Hurts has been to 2 Super Bowls, and if not for the heroics of Mahomes in the first Super Bowl, Jalen Hurts might be a 2-time champion right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, Jalen Hurts has played really, really well. We could talk about the weapons.
Big games, he plays well.
We could talk about the weapons, and I get that. He's been very fortunate to have the weapons. That shouldn't be used against him, though, because the front office has done their job of getting him weapons. But even again, you look at his 2 Super Bowl performances. In his first Super Bowl performance, he threw for over 300 yards, multiple touchdowns. Yeah, he has played really well in big games. I would not put Jalen Hurts any lower than number 6 on any ranking.
There you go. Cameron Key, what's going on? Thoughts on Shakur Stevenson versus William Zapata fight? Shakur definitely redeemed himself from the performance that we saw in his last fight. I'll say that. I thought it was a good win for him. Still not the fight we want to see, or one of the fights that I would prefer to see him in. But I thought he's back to where I was looking at him before this last fight, or his last 2 fights, really.
Shakur's still an elite fighter. I don't think anything changed in my perspective from this fight against Zepeda. Solid opponent, but I don't think he's in a upper echelon or elite level fighter that would challenge Shakur in any way. Until Shakur is challenged differently, whether it be from a big puncher, whether it be from somebody who's as skilled as him as a boxer, we're going to continue to have these debates. And, I know it's boring. Shakur makes it look way too easy. But until he's tested, these are the conversations we're going to continue to have.
Yeah. But congratulations on getting the win. Okay, here we go. Another make or break. Is this a make or break season for Trevor Lawrence? I think the same. It's kind of the same thing with Kyler Murray. Realistically, they did bring in Travis Hunter, so I want to see, how that works out for them. But yeah, obviously, yeah, we want to see, because again, Trevor Lawrence was somebody who, unlike Kyler Murray, was somebody that was spoken about like a once in a decade kind of a talent at QB. So for him, it really, like, you really should be getting over the hump at this point. Like, y'all got to win convincingly this year. Get to the playoffs, be a lock. Get a win in the wild card round. You know what I'm saying? Play a good game in the division series. Like, Trevor Lawrence definitely has to show up and show out this season.
This is a little different, yeah. I think, again, make a break, no, because that would insinuate we're saying you got to win the championship. Yeah. But Trevor Lawrence, by most scouts, was touted as the most sure thing at quarterback since Peyton Manning. Trevor Lawrence has 1 playoff victory. He is going into year 5 right now. He's had different head coaches there. Obviously, it's not all his fault that Urban Meyer was a joke as a head coach there. But Trevor Lawrence I think in a little different situation than Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray's played in a much tougher division because we know how good the 49ers and the Rams have been over the last few years, and to a lesser extent, Seattle as well. For Trevor Lawrence, you look at that division, there isn't a great team in that division. Yeah, the Texans have been in the playoffs the last couple of years, but the Texans aren't great. The Colts aren't great. They're solid. I don't think they're that good. We know the Titans are completely rebuilding. So for Trevor Lawrence, the fact that you've only been to the playoffs one time and you're supposed to be this can't-miss prospect, that's a little troubling. I think also another part that's really troubling with Trevor Lawrence is the interceptions. Last year, as a guy who, again, has been in the league for a few years, continues to throw a lot of interceptions and make rookie mistakes for a guy who's been in the league 4+ years now at this point. So it's not make or break, but I do think this could be a defining moment in his career. He's still young. Again, he's 25. He hasn't hit his athletic peak. But it is one of them situations where if you're the Jaguars and he struggles again, you went and got the running back for him. You got receivers for him, right? If he struggles again, then you got to start wondering, like, all right, is this who this guy's going to be moving forward? And do we have to pivot with our team? Because he was supposed to be Peyton Manning type, and he hasn't been close to that.
Yeah. He's also got to stay healthy, too, because he gets hurt a lot.
He gets hurt a lot. But remember, one of the biggest knocks when he came out of the draft was like, does he really even love football? Because he made the statement to Sports Illustrated, like, oh, football is not really my passion. And so there was questions coming out of Clemson, like, was he just a guy that was supremely talented and naturally gifted, but didn't really want to put the work in to be great? Now we're going to see. If he wants to be great, he's going to have to put the work in because everybody at the NFL level is really, really good.
Yeah. Is Jaden Daniels ranked too high at 5 on the top 10 QB list?
I think so. I think so.
He's coming off of having an exceptional first season. I do feel like Washington got better this off season. And they're probably basing this off of the fact that he can't do nothing because his mom be shutting everything down. So they're probably like, since he's gonna stay out of trouble, he'll be a top 5 quarterback this season. I wouldn't put him at 5. So no, for me, no, I don't think he's the 5th best quarterback in this league. But I do expect him to play at the level he played last season. But no, I don't think 5. I don't think past 8, but 5. I don't know. 5 is high.
5 is very high, and that's why I keep saying, like, to put him at 5 is like disrespecting the work that Jalen Hurts has put in.
Yeah,
it's even to a lesser extent, right? And now, if you're asking me who would I rather build a team around long term, yeah, Jaden Daniels is probably one of those guys because again, he's coming off a rookie season where he had one of the greatest rookie seasons we've ever seen from a quarterback. Right. Yeah. And getting to an NFC Championship game, and you expect that he's only going to get better, and you expect that the weapons around him are only going to get better.
Yes.
But if you're telling me today that I had to start a team, there's no way I'm taking Jaden Daniels over Jalen Hurts. I'm just not doing it. I'm sorry. Jalen Hurts has shown me enough at this point in his career where I would put Jalen Hurts ahead of him, and I would have serious concerns. If you're telling me for one season, I had to put a team together for one season to try to win it all this year, would I rather have Jaden Daniels or Matthew Stafford? I think I would rather have Matthew Stafford because Matthew Stafford has shown me he can do that. Jaden Daniels hasn't shown me that. How is Jaden Daniels' rookie season any different in terms of like the expectations now than what we saw from C.J. Stroud after 1 year? Everybody thought C.J. Stroud was going to be great year 2, and it didn't work out that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think and what happens here, Eric, why I believe that from 5 to 10 came out the way it was, and they're not giving Jalen Hurts as much credit as they should for the Super Bowl win because he didn't have that great of a season. I think that's what we're seeing here, where it's like, because again, I mean, obviously we know he got the rushing touchdowns, which is a big thing, but he didn't throw for 3,000 yards this past season. So I think they're putting more on the regular season numbers than winning. And I think that's why we have the rankings the way we have them.
I mean, and I get it. If
Not
you
to say
do,
order is, right,
right.
but I just,
I just think if their overall thinking is we're ranking this based off of what we think these quarterbacks will be in the next 5 years, then I can understand that. But if we're saying today, give me a top 10 today, I can't put Jaden Daniels over Jalen Hurts today. Because if we were playing football today, I would rather have Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, listen, we saw what he did in the Super Bowl. We saw what he did in both Super Bowls actually. Because even the Super Bowl he lost to the Chiefs, he still threw for damn near 500 yards.
Right, he played great in that game.
In the big moments, he comes to play. So I will give him that. That's why I said I think they're putting more on regular season performance than playoffs. And because that for me, that's the only way I could see how you have Jalen Hurts at 9 and Jaden Daniels at 5.
Yeah, I guess.
Let's go to Ron Charles. He says, which team is the biggest threat to the Eagles in the NFC? I mean, got to still be Washington.
NFC as a whole or NFC East?
Oh, wait. You talking about, okay, no, he just says an NFC. In the NFC as a whole, the Lions, maybe. I guess maybe the Lions will probably be the biggest threat. Maybe the Packers, because I feel like they're gonna take the next step this season. Other than them, I don't know who else would be the biggest threat. But and I guess if you want to throw Washington in there, I think they'll be a threat. 'Cause I do believe they got better. Obviously, we still have to show, improve, and see. But those would be the teams that I would say.
I think you got to say Detroit. And it's tough because, I know recency bias will say, oh, well, the Commanders, they beat up on Detroit when they played them. They did, but also keep in mind, Detroit was missing like 7 starters from their defense, including their best player, Aiden Hutchinson on defense. So I don't know if it would have been any different. I'm not saying they would have beat the Commanders. I just think that Detroit probably looks like a different team this year if they're healthier. Injuries are part of the game, but again, if they're healthier. Another team that I think that people are overlooking, they went toe-to-toe with the Eagles last year in the snow in the playoff game, and that's the Rams. I think the Rams are really, really good, and adding Devontae Adams this year, I think will be a slight upgrade. No disrespect to Cooper Kupp, but to add a physical receiver like Devontae Adams to go with Puka, to go with that running game, I actually like the Rams a lot, not only to win that division. I think the Rams might be a top 2 team in the NFC this year. Because again, I think their division is pretty favorable for them. So
and Kupp ain't been the same since he had that big.
Yeah, Kupp hasn't been the same the last 2 years, but again, adding Devontae Adams with Puka and what Puka's been able to do, I think Sean McVay is one of the best NFL coaches out there.
Good running game.
Yeah, with the running game and Karen Williams, I think the Rams are really good. So I think Detroit, I think the Rams, and I think the Commanders. No particular order, but I think those 3 teams are the biggest threat to the Eagles.
Oh, and while we talking about the Commanders, I just gotta you know where I'm going with this, Eric. You know where I'm going with
it, and it's
the clown that's not too far from where you are, Eric. Talking about we should change the name back to the Redskins and change the Cleveland name back to the Indians. Shut up, man. Just shut up. Show us the Epstein list and shut up, man. That's what we want to know about. All right.
Yeah. There's politics behind that too, but we'll save that for another episode.
The Clippers have added Bradley Beal, and today added Chris Paul. Are the Clippers legit? I thought the Clippers were legit last season.
Yeah.
I thought they were a good team. I think they're a legitimate playoff team. I think they can contend depending on who they're matched with in the playoffs. At this point in Chris Paul's career, outside of the veteran leadership, and this is a pretty veteran-led team, so I don't know how much he's going to really contribute to this Clippers team. Bill is a little bit different because I think he could contribute to this team if he can stay healthy and just kind of be their Ray Allen type player, their Kyle Korver, just the guy that's going to knock down, shoot them threes because Kawhi's going to handle the bulk of everything. James Harden will be there. You know, Zubac has come along very well playing center for them. They got a somewhat of a deep roster. But do I think this pushes them over the top to win a championship? No. But again, I think they were already a legitimate playoff contender. So,
legit playoff contender without a doubt. I think with these moves, you can argue that they're a top 4 team in the West. I think the best teams in the West we know again: OKC, Denver, Minnesota. Now Houston, obviously, those to me are the top 4, and I think now we can make a legitimate case that the Clippers should be in that conversation. But for me, the real question here is who's going to stay healthy on this team, because now, you got all these names. All these guys miss 20-plus games every year. Yeah. Chris Paul, Bradley Beal, Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, they all miss a lot of time every year. So for me, the training staff got to be working overtime. And Ty Lue's a great coach. I think Ty Lue will find a way to make this work because, again, the more talent you have, the easier the season should be. But Bradley Beal was just in a pretty good situation in Phoenix, and he barely played. Mm-hmm. Chris Paul, there's a great opportunity to come off that bench with that team. To me, Bradley Beal doesn't really do anything for me on this move. Chris Paul, I like that part of the move. But the Clippers, to me, are still kind of where we thought they would be, like 4th or 5th best in the West. I don't think adding these 2 guys, and they added Brook Lopez, which is a nice piece off their bench as well. I don't think that's enough for me.
So old now. It's just like.
But again, this is what I mean. But this is what the Clippers have done, and the Clippers. This is one of those questions that somebody says: is this a make or break year for them? Because either they're gonna make it or they're gonna break apart after this. Because what else can you do? As old as they are at this point.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a break season because they're not going to win a championship with this roster. They're too old. I'm sorry. This team is really old. James Harden is old. Kawhi is older. You just added Brook Lopez, who's in the twilight of his career. Chris Paul, who's in the twilight of his career. They're really old and really injury prone. Like the core of guys on this team are all injury prone.
That's what I'm saying. These are all guys, right? When you look at last year was probably the healthiest Kawhi has been in 5 years.
That's what I'm saying, and it still wasn't enough.
And it wasn't enough. And James Harden is probably one of the most hot and cold NBA superstars we've ever had.
Exactly.
Because James Harden could look great for a month, and then come playoff time, James Harden would do what he did in Game 7.
Who the heck is this guy? Yeah.
So, Chris Paul, I think, is a great veteran addition to their bench, but is he going to be healthy come playoff time? Can Bradley Beal play more than 45 games?
Well, that's the real question, right?
That's what I'm not. And shout out to Will Gordon, because Will was one of the first ones when Bradley Beal was still in DC who said, "Yo, the dude is super overrated," and he's shown that he got that money, and there's nothing to prove that he's worthy of that contract. I'm sorry, and we love the athletes getting the bag, but that was a robbery what Bradley Beal pulled off.
Yeah, I agree. Shout out to Pooh. She says the injury / RG3 beef. How did it all start? And Shaq said he's gonna punch him if he don't leave her alone. It started because RG3 was out here clout chasing, trying to get them clicks up. Because now he in the media and he wanted to get, how like Skip Bayless got LeBron. He trying to get Angel. He trying to make Angel Reese his LeBron James. And it's like, bro, you doing way too much, my guy. Like, it ain't even like you accomplish anything crazy during your stint in the NFL. All right, let's be clear. Like your highlight, the highlight of your career is winning the division that 1 year with Washington, and then getting injured and pretty much. I mean, you lingered around a little bit for a couple of years, but it was pretty much over for you after your rookie season. So you ain't even really accomplished nothing in the league. Angel Reese been in the WNBA for a season and a half, and is damn near the all-time leader in rebounds in a season and a half. Like you gotta stop, man. She didn't made 2 all-star teams right now. Like just give it up. And then you out here, you think it's okay because you didn't originally make the post, with the whole monkey situation thing, but you still posted it on your platform, which is just as bad.
Yeah, I was about to say that's just as bad.
Like, circulate. Yeah, you could have posted. You could have talked about it without circulating it on your platform, which is a huge platform. So, you corny for that. And I'm very much so with Shaq. Now, I ain't gonna punch RG3 in the face if I see him. That's Shaq's job. But I'm all for protecting our black women. Like we not about to sit up here and do that. And as a brother, you should be ashamed of yourself. I know you on the other side. You married to a snow bunny. You know what I'm saying? Where's Dr. Umar when you need him? But you know what I'm saying? We can't have you out here disrespecting our black women, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it started with that post. It escalated because he exaggerated a conversation. He claimed, I spoke with Angel Reese's people. When Angel and her mom both came out and said, you ain't never speak to nobody in our camp.
Because they don't rock it anyway, so why would somebody speak to you?
Yeah, I mean, but that was the prime example of doing it for clout. Because if you were just mad about the original post, then you speak on the fact that you're mad about the post, but don't make it seem like you tied into the inner circle. And that you got like exclusive conversations that nobody else heard, like that, and Shaq was just protecting Angel Reese. Angel Reese is an athlete under Reebok. Shaq has already said
LSU alum as well.
Right. You know what I'm saying? LSU and they have, their own relationship away from basketball and stuff. So kudos to Shaq, but RG3, I feel like he's become this clickbait type, sports character now. Because him and Ryan Clark went at it recently. He's gone back and forth. He's made some comments about other guys in the league and quarterbacks. And he's becoming like this guy who's looking more for shock value than quality content.
Yep. Yeah. So it is what it is. Another guy that's former QB in the media space now. Cam Newton. Shout out to Devontae Harris. He says Cam Newton leaves Jalen Hurts off his top 10 list. Terrell Owens calling out Cam for hating on Hurts. Here's my thing. That's his personal list, and he doesn't have he doesn't have Jalen Hurts in his top 10. I'm not gonna be too mad at him for his personal list, but if you're trying to say that there are 10 quarterbacks, or because I don't know where he had him on his list in the league that are better than Jalen Hurts, then I gotta draw the line and say, nah, man. Now it does sound like you got some type of issue you have with him, which it just hasn't been seen yet. But yeah, that I'm not. I don't believe there's 10 quarterbacks that should be ranked ahead of Jalen Hurts.
There's 8 divisions in football. Even if Jalen Hurts isn't the best in his own division, even if you want to say Jaden Daniels the best, that would make him the second best within his own division. Yeah. So at the very least, I'm thinking he got to be somewhere in the range of like, and that's if you were counting the top 2 from every division, that puts him top 16. Then if we start going from there, I mean,
there's not 16 quarterbacks better than Jalen.
That's what I'm saying. Then now it's like, all right, so you telling me there's 6? No, there's not 16. And then if we like I said, comb through the list, the most obvious are the top 4: Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, Jackson.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I mean, you're not putting Caleb Williams, you're not putting Jared Goff, you're not putting Jordan Love, you're not putting Baker Mayfield, you're not putting whoever the hell the quarterback for the Saints is going to be this year. No. You're not putting Michael Penix over him. You're not putting Kyler Murray over him. Like, stop. You're not putting 10 guys over Jalen Hurts.
That's what I'm saying. That's why it's like now it sounds like there might be some hateration this dancery.
Yeah, and you know, I agree with you. We got to respect everybody's opinion and their list. And listen, Cam Newton at his peak was a great quarterback. He had about a 4 to 5 year window where Cam Newton was one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
Absolutely.
The stats show that he won an MVP. He led a team to a Super Bowl. So I'm not going to pretend to know more football than Cam Newton.
That's why I give him a little bit of grace, though, because unlike RG3 coming at Angel Reese, where RG3 really have not accomplished anything, Cam Newton at least is an MVP level quarterback and was a top quarterback in the NFL for a couple of years. RG3 has not ever been that.
No, I get all that. But I would still say this. Again, I don't pretend to know more football than Cam Newton. I never played at that level. But I do watch football every Sunday. And you ain't going to tell me that there's 10 guys. Huh?
I said I do a lot of betting.
I do a lot of betting. All right, the FanDuel account proves that. There ain't 10 quarterbacks that are better than Jalen Hurts.
Nope.
So let's cut that out right now.
Not at all. Another big boxing fight. Pacquiao versus Mario Barrios, which ended in a draw, majority draw. I thought that was kind of corny. That the fight ended in a majority. Like, I don't ever want to see a boxing fight end in a majority draw. Like, I think that's the worst decision that you could get. But I mean, it's old man Pacquiao now. Like, I don't know. I really don't even care to watch Pacquiao fight anymore. Like, after once you stop fighting for a couple of years and you're already at quote unquote retirement age, I'm not really interested in seeing you get back in the ring anyway. That's not to say that Pacquiao couldn't, maybe knock a guy out like we are used to seeing of him, but it's an out of sight, out of mind thing. And I'm already past. There's a lot of really good fighters that are fighting right now that I really want to see fight. I really want to see this Crawford Canelo fight. Mm-hmm. I want to see Tank in the rematch with what was it? Keith Johnson. What's my man that they just fought?
Jeremy Roach.
There you go. Yeah, Jeremy Roach. I want to see that rematch. You know what I'm saying? I want to see Shakur fight Tank at some point or Teofimo. Like, there's a lot of guys right now that I want to see fight. Pacquiao is just not one of them. Had he won the belt, I would have been like, kudos to you. But I could care less about a Pacquiao fight right now.
Listen, I mean, unfortunately for the sport of boxing, you need the name recognition to sell the fight, right? Yeah. Pacquiao had not fought in a few years, so the fact that it was a pay-per-view for a belt proves everything right there, that the sport of boxing understands the power of that name, right? Mm-hmm. No other platform or sports field where you could just come in and challenge for a championship after not fighting for a few years. But with that being said, I thought Pacquiao, I mean, he fought well for a guy who hadn't been in the ring a little bit and also is in his mid-40s. I thought Mario Barrios allowed him back in the fight. Shout out to the commentary that night who also noticed that Mario Barrios actually started the fight off really strong, and then in the middle rounds, for whatever reason, decided he wanted to fight off his back foot and allow Pacquiao back in the fight. And Mario Barrios literally, on all three scorecards, they had Barrios winning the 12th round, which is what led to the majority draw. If he loses that 12th round, Pacquiao wins that fight. So he allowed Pacquiao in. I don't know if he just felt so comfortable or whatever the case may be. But listen, for Pacquiao, the footage is up. I've said this a long time ago. For the Pacquiao supporters, y'all gonna hate that I say this. Pacquiao has been fighting for a check for years now. And y'all was so quick. When I say y'all, I mean a lot of people in the media, y'all so quick to count Floyd Mayweather's money. Y'all been claiming he been going broke for over a decade now. Floyd ain't been broke. All I keep seeing is Floyd traveling the world and buying gifts that he don't even need at this point. Yeah, but Floyd got a watch room that's bigger than my whole apartment. All right. But it's a fact. It's a fact. Trip. You know what I'm saying? Floyd is living a completely different lifestyle. But
leave that man alone, please.
Nobody talks about the fact that Manny Pacquiao has continued to take fights after all these issues he had with the IRS, after being a governor in the Philippines, and then there was allegations of misappropriated funds. And this ain't to slander his name. I'm just calling it what it is. We talk a lot about guys hanging on past their prime. Manny Pacquiao is like 47 years old now, still fighting. And after the fight, still came out again and said, I'm still looking to get another fight or two, which to me lets me know you're in financial trouble. This is the same situation Muhammad Ali was in at the end of his career, where Ali was hanging on and taking whatever big payday he could take to kind of compensate for where he was at financially. That's the part I don't want to see with Manny Pacquiao. If you were just doing it for the love of, hey, I still feel like I got something to contribute, cool.
That's one thing.
Right. But the fact that you took 3 years off, then decided to come back for this payday, and now you're just looking for a quick, and then he even, of course, threw Floyd's name out there again. Like you want to fight Floyd because you know that would be an easy $50 to $60 million check.
Yeah, nobody's doing that.
We know where you're at, we know where you're at right now, and that part is sad to me. This is not what Manny Pacquiao should be doing at this point.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think he should have got a title shot in the first place.
I agree, but again,
exactly. But you're right.
And for Mario Barrios, he had to capitalize off it too. Mario Barrios is a champion that a lot of people didn't know, so he used this as an opportunity. Hey,
let me get my name up too. That's probably gonna be the biggest check he's got anyway, and he'll get a little name recognition.
People did not tune in. I'm sorry, people did not tune in for Mario Barrios. They tuned in because Manny Pacquiao was fighting.
Yes, basically. All right. Well, let me go to this next. The Cooper Flag showcase why he's the number one pick. He shot bad game 1 and had 31 game 2. Then they shut him down. Why shut him down? You know why they shut him down? Because of Chet Holmgren. That's why they shut him down. Because you don't want to take a chance. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, Chet, I think was like a Drew League game where Chet got hurt or something like that. But you don't want the guy you just drafted and it's supposed to be the future of your franchise playing extra unnecessary games. Well, obviously, we saw what he could do. You said he put up 31 in the second game. His first game was on par with what we saw from Wemby last year when he played his first game in the Summer League. Then he played the second game and was like, this is what we was talking about. And then they shut him down. So it's on par. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's in a good situation. Yeah, he was supposed to be the number one pick in this draft.
Yeah, the Cooper Flag showcase why he's number one pick. I think he showcased that last summer when he played against the Olympic team. And them dude, and at 17 years old, Kevin Durant was like, nah, he ready now.
He different.
Right? They would at 17, they was like, nah, the kid is ready right now. But the reason you shut him down, Devontae Harris, is as Trip mentioned, one, injuries. You don't even take the chance of him rolling an ankle or straining a hamstring, pull hamstring, anything like that in a summer league game. But the second part of it, remember, Duke's season ended in late March. We're now in July. The season isn't going to start to October. You wanted him to still at least get a little bit of game action in between now and the start of the season. Because, again, he hadn't played in any meaningful basketball since Duke got eliminated from the tournament. So you give him an opportunity. He gets 2 games in with a couple of teammates that may or may not be on the team. But more importantly, he gets to see what the system is going to be. Because the summer league coach is going to run the same offense that Jason Kidd is going to run with the pro team. And he gets an idea and a feel for it. And now you sit him down and he starts working out with his teammates and gets ready for the season. But I didn't need a summer league to know why Cooper Flag was going to should be the number one pick. No different than like we talked about last year. I didn't need summer league to know Wemby was going to be the best player coming out of. 2 years ago, I didn't need Wemby to show me he was the number one guy in summer league. We know what he's going to be. He's going to be an absolute impact player from opening tip. Pause. So they good with Cooper Flag.
Todd Jefferson says Sam Darnold ranked 72 in the NFL top 100 list. I mean, is the question, should he be ranked higher or lower? I mean,
we're not about to go through 71 players to debate if Sam Darnold.
I'm sorry, I can't pay the $5 on that one.
No disrespect to Sam Darnold. He had a great year last year. I'm gonna assume you're properly ranked at 72. I'm just
You gotta think too. I mean, this Sam Darnold ain't no spring chicken either.
Yeah, Sam Darnold been in the league like 9 years at this point.
Yeah, like congratulations, like you said, he had a great year. But yeah,
I don't know if his career year should he be ranked higher than 72?
I ain't about to go back and forth with you, Eric, about Sam Darnold's ranking.
Next thing you know, we argue, should he be ranked top 50? Nah, he's 72. If he don't like that he's 72, he could play better again next year. Maybe he'll bump up from 72.
Exactly. Let's go because this is actually a good one. I've been waiting to get to this one. Clarissa Shields challenges Layla Ali. I got 15 million for you. Layla is 47 years old. Who would you roll with? Well, obviously, Layla Ali is 47 and hasn't fought in what, 10 years, 15 years?
15 years.
About 15 years. Like, obviously, I'm gonna go with the GOAT who's currently kicking ass and taking names in that situation. Now, if you asking me, both fighters in their Coach Shields is in a prime now, but if you're asking me a prime Clarissa Shields versus a prime Layla Ali, I don't know who wins. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think it's gonna be a hell of a fight. But right now, I gotta give the edge to Clarissa Shields. She's way younger. She's active. I'm not gonna disrespect her and pick Layla Ali. Now, if Layla Ali came in there and they fought and she won, rumble, young woman, rumble is all I can say. But I'm not going to disrespect the work that Clarissa Shields has put in this past decade and to get to where she's at, to be undisputed in multiple divisions at the same time. I can't disregard that for a 47-year-old Layla Ali who hasn't boxed in over 10 years.
Yeah, there's no way at this point you wouldn't take Clarissa Shields. She has been the best women's boxer. I mean, what we want to say, last 8 years, 10 years, pretty much since she won Olympic medals.
I'm about to say, so she got in
yeah, and no disrespect to Layla, because Layla's a legend in her own right, and what she did for women's combat sports, not just boxing, but combat sports, deserves all the accolades. But you're talking about somebody who hasn't fought in over a decade to get in the ring with arguably the best woman right now in the sport. It's not even right. It's not even fair. And then again, it's a massive age difference as well.
Do I even want to see that? Can Layla go 12 rounds now?
I'm gonna tell you what I didn't like about it though, right? To me, it came across as gimmicky because Clarissa Shields is an amazing fighter, and I get the promotional side of things. And this is all really being marketed in together so that people will tune into the next fight she has coming up, which I believe is next weekend. Yeah. So it's kind of like a way of like, hey guys, pay attention to me, because if you weren't a Clarissa Shields fan, now you know her name because she said, hey Layla, I got the 15 million, right? Yeah. It's gimmicky in that aspect. I really would love for Clarissa Shields and Layla Ali to have a sit down and kind of hash out whatever discrepancies they have, because I don't even think they got real beef.
No.
I think it's one of those things where you have the older guard. Yeah. I think it's one of the issues where you got one of the older guards who's being critical of the current generation. And instead of the current generation saying, hey, look, I respect your opinion, she's barking back now. Yeah. But I wouldn't want to see them fight. I don't care how much money's put on the table. I would not want to see them fight.
Because here's the thing. Okay. I mean, there's always a chance in the fights anybody can win a fight. Mm-hmm. But what does Clarissa Shields gain from beating a 47-year-old Layla Ali who hasn't boxed in over 10 years? Nothing. We're not going to come out of that fight. If she wins that fight, we're not going to come out of that fight saying, well, one, we already feel like she's the GOAT anyway. But if you come out of that fight and you beat Layla Ali, you don't get no extra brownie points for beating a 47-year-old fighter who hasn't fought in over 10 years. You don't even get props for that. Like, or you get the paycheck, which is great. You get 15 million or whatever. It'd probably be your biggest pay, Coach Shields' biggest payday, but you don't get nothing from that. You know what I'm saying? Like, bragging rights, maybe, but do you even get bragging rights because you didn't fight her in her prime? So you don't get anything but a paycheck from this. I don't want to see.
That's all. It's a paycheck. I don't think it really does much for your brand because, again,
it doesn't. It does nothing.
Most of Clarissa Shields' fight, most of her fans never got to see Layla fight anyway. So it's not like you're bridging a gap between like, oh, my people who are my fans were also fans of hers, and now we're having this historic moment. It does nothing for you. It does nothing for your brand.
It's very Jake Paul-y.
It's what?
It's very Jake Paul-y. That's about the fight.
She tried to use that as a reference point where she said, well, if Jake Paul can fight a 50-plus-year-old Mike Tyson, why can't I fight Layla? Well, the biggest difference is Jake Paul has never been the best in his sport, and Jake Paul just started training 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Clarissa Shields has been training for over 20 years. It's been the best in the sport for the past 10 years. Layla Ali has been out of the sport for more than 10 years. So
most people didn't even really want to see Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson.
No, a lot of people didn't. But again, we understood the showmanship of it because, again, Jake Paul hasn't trained that long.
Yeah.
We're talking about a guy who just started taking the sport seriously 6 years ago.
Exactly. Yeah.
We're not talking like if Jake Paul was. Consider it this way. Imagine if Deontay Wilder called out Mike Tyson right now. I'd be like, come on, bro. Like, you a former Olympian. You've been this level. You've been fighting at this level for over 15 years. Mike Tyson been off the sport for 15, 20 years. And now you want to fight him?
Yeah, stop.
It ain't the same. So this one, like I said, if Clarissa Shields want to do something real dope.
It looks bad on Clarissa Shields that you going this hard to try to get a fight with a 47-year-old Layla Ali.
I think what would be dope is if they got Max Kellerman to mediate it and they kind of sat down to like hash out whatever issues and talk about what they're trying to do for women's sports. If they did something like that, I think it'd be dope because then I think that'd be the perfect combination of Layla Ali and the older guard and one of the true first women that really pushed women's boxing. Because her and Christy Martin are two of the biggest names, I think, in women's boxing who pushed it early on. And now Clarissa Shields, who's now carrying that torch for the next guard and next generation of women's fight. I think something like that would be dope.
Yeah, I agree. Something I don't agree with, Caitlin Clark winning the ESPY for best WNBA player. Are they forcing her pause down our throats? I'm glad you put the pause in there, Ty. So, I mean, I was still going to say pause anyway. But hell no. Hell no. No. Okay? No. She is not the best boxer. I mean, excuse me. She's not the best WNBA player. I'm sorry. And it's not even close. It is not even close. The fact that I think this is a bunch of BS. And this is where, like, when you're talking about, like, all right, like, I get it. She's the future of the WNBA. She's bringing a lot of viewership. But that don't mean we just going to start throwing accolades at her just based off of that.
Yeah.
There's no way. You're not on the level of Asia Wilson. I'm sorry. You're not that. You're not Breonna Stewart. Okay? There are so many players like she's not. I'm sorry, she's not the best WNBA. Like, you didn't even make it to the finals last year. You didn't make it to the finals and lose. Like, you didn't even like. What are we talking about? How is this even a discussion here when Asia Wilson has been doing what she's been doing for the past couple of years, and you couldn't even lace up Asia Wilson's sneakers. And I'm saying that in the most respectful way I can because I do think Caitlin Clark is nice, but you ain't in the upper echelon just yet. You got some ways to go. You can't be in upper echelon and you averaging 5 and 6 turnovers a game. I'm sorry, that ain't gonna cut it for me. Asia Wilson is the best player in women's basketball right now, and if you're not gonna give it to Asia Wilson, then that award should have went to Breonna Stewart. For her leading the Liberty to their first title this past season, but that award should definitely not have gone to Caitlin Clark.
I mean, this is a very simple discussion. If you win MVP of your league, how are you not then the best player?
I don't get it.
That's the part I don't get because. If we want to say most impactful, that's a different conversation.
Yeah,
Caitlin Clark may have been the most impactful.
That's not what the award was for. The award was
not right. The award was best WNBA player, and I think that should go to a woman who just was MVP of the league.
Yeah, the only other thing where I would be like, if it doesn't go to the MVP of the league, if you gave it to the Finals MVP. That's the only other one where I'll be like, all right, I still feel like Asia Wilson is the best player, But you know what? This team won, and this team was the Finals MVP.
Yeah, right.
So I'm not gonna be mad if you gave it to her. But to
Right.
give it to Caitlin Clark is just like no. It really is them trying to force her at us
Right.
and make us love Caitlin Clark. And I'm sorry, you're not it. We sat up here a couple of weeks ago and we're talking about how we felt Paige was better than Caitlin Clark.
I still believe Paige is better.
You know what I mean? So come on, man. What are we doing? Y'all just, but I mean, we know they just be giving away awards sometimes too. So I you know, what can you say? Cameron Key says, any issue with the list? Mahomes at 1, Allen at 2, Burrow at 3, Lamar at 4. I mean, we kind of been talking about this. Daniels, Stafford at 6, Herbert, Goff, Hurts. My only issue would be Hurts should be ahead of all of these other guys. You know, that's all.
I mean,
now,
I mentioned.
Excuse me. After Lamar, Hurts should be up there. That's my only issue with it. Other than that,
As I said, I think you can make it. If you're talking just going into next year, you can make a serious case for Matthew Stafford over Jaden Daniels. But that's only if we're talking just next year. If we're talking future of the league, obviously Jaden Daniels is above Matthew Stafford. Justin Herbert for me would fall back a little bit, just because Jared Goff has done more. Baker Mayfield has more playoff success than Justin Herbert. So Justin Herbert on talent alone is a really good quarterback.
I think everybody on this list got more playoff wins than Justin Herbert.
I'm just saying, but I mean, again,
I believe so. I believe everybody on this list got more playoff wins.
This is why I don't understand these lists, because if we're basing it off of like, the future, right? Like if you're gonna say Jaden Daniels is 5 and Herbert is 7 because their future perspective is better. All right, cool. Then how is Jalen Hurts behind Matthew Stafford then? Because the future for Jalen Hurts is much brighter than Matthew Stafford. Then if we're using current, again, then Jalen Hurts should be above Jaden Daniels because Jalen Hurts has done more currently than Jaden Daniels. So that's where it gets tricky. Shout out to Baker Mayfield. He's another guy. We talked earlier about Kyler Murray and Trevor Lawrence. He's another guy who kind of reinvented himself and is living up to, being the number 1 pick. And he had to deal with a lot of nonsense. He heard the critics and he corrected himself. He made himself into an elite quarterback. Facts.
All right, y'all starting us up.
I knew. We're 1 hour and 12 minutes in.
Shout out to Scoop Hoop. He says, expect Marcus Smart to make an impact on the Lakers. Seems like hasn't played much since Boston. Well, he was dealing with some injuries in Memphis. But I honestly, I do think he's going to make an impact for the Lakers if he's healthy, because we are talking about somebody who's only 2 years removed from being a defensive player of the year. And the biggest, one of the 2 biggest holes that the Lakers had in their roster was a defensive guy who can cover the perimeter. And Marcus Smart is, what I'm saying, he's the epitome of that kind of a player. So as long as he's healthy, I think he's going to contribute. He can knock down the 3. He's one of the toughest guys in the league. So, yeah, I think he will make an impact for the Lakers.
I think he can make an impact. I just don't know how he's going to fit next to Luka and LeBron, because Marcus Smart is not a great shooter either. And like I said, the Lakers need more shooting. So defensively, if he's close to what he was in Boston a couple years ago, he can be an impact guy and he can help Luka, because we know Luka's not going to defend the best perimeter guy. That could be Marcus Smart.
Or any perimeter
guy. Or any perimeter guy for that matter. But if you're telling me you out there with a lineup of Luka, LeBron, Ayton, Austin Reeves, and Marcus Smart, where's the floor spacing?
Well,
who's the shooters out there? And that's why I don't know what type of impact Marcus Smart can really have, because unless he can consistently knock down 35% of his threes, I can see JJ Redick not using him a lot in the second half of games, especially games that are close, because they're going to need more spacing on the floor.
Yeah. So we're gonna see how it goes. But he does need to be healthy. That's the most important part. He got to be healthy. All right. Shout out to Imani. She says Klay Thompson and Megan Thee Stallion have confirmed they are dating. Is this a PR stunt? Klay ain't never posted so much on socials. Shit, they posted themselves working out this morning. She was just dating Torrey Craig 3 months ago, but Klay like that kind of woman. Tell her this, that's last at the training camp. Listen, all I'm gonna say is this: if I had the opportunity to take, to experience Meg Thee Stallion, I'm gonna take it. I'm not mad at Klay Thompson for taking it. He did what the hell he was supposed to do. You need all that stallion. So congratulations to Klay. The Splash Brothers win again.
Yeah, shout out to Amani. I don't think Klay wanted it to become public, but when that initial picture leaked and people started zooming in the background, he had no choice. You kind of got to roll with it at that point.
Paparazzi.
Right. I mean, well, she posted it was a picture poolside that she posted, and everybody zoomed in and saw him like chilling, lounging in the background.
Is that Klay?
Yeah. So I don't think he was expecting to go public with it, but once the picture came out and people started putting the 2 and 2 together and reading the tea leaves, it was like, all right, let's just roll with it.
You dating Meg Thee Stallion. It's going public.
At some point, yeah. It was.
You just got to be ready for it. Shout out to Will Gordon, man. What it do?
I think they will last the training camp because what's going to happen is, I promise you, they will be spotted in a skybox at one of the Dallas Cowboys games. One of the first 2 or 3 weeks of the season, they will be there. Mm-hmm. And so NBA season starts in October, which means they in training camp in September, they'll be dating and they'll be at a Cowboys game.
Now is this gonna be like with Taylor Swift at the Chiefs games? Every time you see Meg at a Dallas game. She is from Texas.
She's from Texas, but probably not. NFL is different because there's only, you Sundays. You only got to be there on Sunday.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's a lot of games.
NBA game is like, how many games she gonna make it to?
Yeah. Hoop Ball Scoop says Shea won the ESPY for best male athlete. Is Shea on a legendary run? I would say so. MVP, NBA championship, Finals MVP. The only thing that would have made that run better, which obviously I didn't think was going to happen, would have been if Canada had won the Olympic gold this past summer. That's the only thing that would have made this run more legendary. Because again, we don't see guys get regular season MVP and then win the championship and then get Finals MVP. You know what I'm saying? Only the best of the best.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So the LeBrons, the Stephs, MJs, you know what I'm saying? Not everybody has those kind of runs. And not only is he on that type of run, but he's on that type of run with a team that's so young. Realistically, you know what I mean? This OKC team could be a top team in the Western Conference for at least another 5 years.
Yeah.
Before, when you got to re-up again, because now that you got Shea, Chet, Jaden Williams just got his new deal, you ain't gonna be able to bring all them guys back again after these contracts expire. Somebody gonna have to be the odd man out unless they're taking a pay cut. And they're so young, I don't see none of these guys taking that kind of a pay cut.
I mean, Shea's on a legendary run. Ironically, the MVP of the NBA wins the ESPY award, but but Shea had a great.
They got it right on the men's side. It's just the women's side they didn't get it right.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a legendary run, and it's well deserved because he's a guy I think that's put in the work, and we saw that this year. So shout out to Shea on that.
Facts. Yo, Will, the people calling for you, man. What up? Come rock with us, man. You always welcome to come on home,
Yes,
man.
Sir.
All right. Shout out to Will Gordon. Dame Lillard going back to the Blazers. He clearly don't want to win a championship. When I saw that, I'm not gonna be mad. I'm not mad at Dame for going back to Portland because he spent so many years in Portland. But I just felt like, man, if you wanted to go back to Portland, you could have ended your career there. You got a golden ticket right now. You are you are officially invited into Willy Wonka's chocolate factory with the golden ticket. You could have gone anywhere you wanted, signed a 2-year deal and play for one of these contenders, try to get yourself a championship, and then go back to Portland. You got all of your money. This wasn't like an Ayton or Bill where they got a lot of it, a nice chunk of it. No, you got every dollar on your contract coming to you. You could have signed anywhere, Dame. I would really have loved to see Dame contend for a championship. Obviously, he's going to be out at least until like April, May. But I didn't think that his career was going to be over. So you got time to go back to Portland, man. I would have loved to see him sign with a contender, man.
This is going to be a bit of a hot take. I don't think he's ever going to play for the Blazers, though. I think this was all done as a business move. He gets to rehab at home because his kids are there. As we talked about before, even if rehab went perfect, he probably wasn't going to be ready to come back until March or April.
Yeah.
Obviously, we know the Blazers are not going to be in title contention, so he's not rushing back to play with them. I think he's using this as an opportunity to rehab at home with doctors that he trusts because of all his years in Portland. And either at this trade deadline, depending on how he's progressing, or next offseason after he's had a full year to recover, they're going to flip him for assets. The contract isn't terrible.
Yeah.
Like you said, he's getting all the money from Milwaukee and now Portland, so he's not pressed on the contract or to rush back. It'll be like, hey, I'm getting my money and I can take my time and at the very least take this whole year off. But I think Portland did this more from the standpoint of, if we help you rehab and get you back fully healthy, remember they gave him the no trade clause, they're going to flip him to a contender and they're going to try to get assets back as they continue to rebuild. So I don't think this is about him ever really playing with the Blazers. I think he viewed this from the standpoint of, I can trust the organization. I know those team doctors, and it gives me the opportunity to be around my kids on a day-to-day basis, as opposed to signing somewhere else. Remember, we talked about maybe one of the LA teams would be in the mix because he's from that area.
Yeah.
But this is even better for him. He gets to see his kids every day. He can rehab. And like I said, I don't expect him on the court this year. I think they get him fully healthy. If he plays, it will be purely a showcase to show teams, look, he's back, he's healthy, he's ready to go. And they're going to try to flip him at this deadline or next offseason to bring in more young assets. Yeah.
All right. WNBA players at the All-Star break had meetings with the league. And they had warm-up shirts saying, pay us what you owe us. I mean, I'm always for getting paid, pays with yours, but
I don't think they really mean that though.
Yeah, I don't know. But listen, we always for getting to the players, getting to the bag, whatever that means. But yeah, it is what it is. Let me go to shout out to D'Nell Jackson. He says LA transitioning from James to Luka's timeline. Fair for James to be frustrated with LA. Report LeBron has been frustrated with Lakers since Westbrook trade.
Why you gotta do this?
I don't know. I don't understand. Like, do we even know that LeBron is frustrated with the Lakers organization?
Sure, they just want to talk about LeBron, Trip.
That's what I'm saying. That'd be my thing. Is like, yo, and then I don't even just mean our supporters. I'm just the media in general. Like, I be hearing so much stuff. It's like I have not once heard LeBron or Rich Paul say he was having issues with the Lakers, or he was frustrated with the Lakers organization. Like, people make a big deal about everything when it comes to LeBron.
I'm not. First of all, to say fair for James to be frustrated with LA, it isn't. What is there? LeBron could have opted out. Let's start there.
If he was frustrated,
right? LeBron opted into his contract. If he was so frustrated, he could have opted out and taken less money to go play anywhere he wanted to play.
That's why I'm confused when I see all these reports. I'm like, frustrated where?
He opted into $52 million. That's first.
Yeah.
I don't believe any report that LeBron has been frustrated with Lakers since Westbrook trade, because he was the driving force in getting Russell Westbrook, just like he was the driving force in bringing in Carmelo Anthony, just like he's been a driving force in a lot of the moves that the Lakers have made since he's been there.
Yeah.
So I don't believe any of that report. And I would challenge, where's that report coming from? Because if that report is being put out there by somebody who's affiliated with Clutch Sports, well then yeah, of course LeBron is frustrated because Clutch wants that narrative out there. Oh, LeBron's not happy. Big deal. LeBron is 41 years old. If he's not happy, he didn't have to opt into his $52 million contract. He could have been a free agent and signed for the vet minimum anywhere else he wanted to, but he didn't want that. So that's what comes with it. I could be frustrated with my job. I'm still looking for that direct deposit to hit.
Exactly.
I could be frustrated with my job. I'm probably not calling out tomorrow. So LeBron could be as frustrated as he wants to be. He chose to stay there, so that's where he'll be.
That's what it is. All right, Janetta Johnson says Joy Taylor out at Fox Sports. Word is she had an affair with Emmanuel Aiko. Can she redeem herself? Y'all think a big network will sign her? She got the looks and she knows sports. Let me just say this right now for the viewers at home, all the supporters that are here with us right now on the live and around the world, and to the beautiful, the talented, the innovative Joy Taylor. Listen, you're not over at Fox Sports anymore, but you'll always have a home here at Real Fans Real Talk. Whenever you want to come and be a part of the magic that we got going on here at Joy, and I say this from the bottom of my heart, we welcome you with open arms. I think you are a dope and incredible sports analyst. I love a lot of your takes, so damn the majors, okay? You want to really show off, your talents, come to Death Row. come over to Real Fans Real Talk.
Listen, I agree. We would love to have Joy here with us and to discuss all these rumors and address them. Mm-hmm. But I think she could redeem herself because, again, these are all rumors. Unless there's proof that she had an affair with Emmanuel Acho.
I didn't know she was married in the first place.
Say that again?
I didn't even know she was married.
So the story goes, she's not currently married. She was married a few years ago when she first started at Fox Sports. Her ex-husband, he has never spoken about it publicly. And this is all tied to the lawsuit. This all ties back to the Skip Bayless lawsuit. So the makeup artist who was filing the lawsuit against Skip Bayless, in her statement, she talks about Joy Taylor kind of being very promiscuous at Fox and kind of sleeping her way to the top, and that the environment at Fox was that every one of the media personalities thought they had free reign to anyone they wanted. So she used Joy Taylor, the example of Joy Taylor, who she claims used to sleep with one of the high-ranking people. That's how she was able to get her own show. And then Emmanuel Acho and her having a relationship, and that's why they became co-hosts together. Marcellus Wiley recently talked about this on his YouTube live, where he said he didn't have proof they slept together, but he did feel that they were in cahoots because of the way he was forced out of Fox Sports behind rumors that later on became that were false. And somehow his slot, after rumors started about him, he was forced out, and they found out the rumors were false. Joy Taylor and Emmanuel Acho then had his slot at Fox Sports. So he said, looking back on it, though he does not have proof that they were sleeping together, he do feels that they were working in cahoots to get him out of the way to get that time slot. And then you can look that up on YouTube. It's two different clips he has up there, both about 45 minutes long, where he details some of the things. He talks about he's known Joy Taylor for a very long time, obviously, because Marcellus Wiley was in the NFL. He knows her brother, Jason Taylor. He knew her when she was at college, so he always viewed her as a very good friend of his and a little sister. So he said the allegations were a little shocking to him, but he said, looking back on it, I wouldn't be surprised because I do feel like I was forced out of Fox Sports to make room for Joy and Emmanuel. So this is all part of that. Can she redeem herself though? Yes, because again, these are all allegations. And let's not be naive. We're all adults here. We know people engage in sexual encounters in the workplace. If you've ever had any type of job, you know that there are people who mess around with each other who are each other's side piece. We know that already. Joy Taylor's ex-husband in this statement, he is referenced because there was an incident, I guess, where he came up to the station when he and Joy were still married and confronted someone that he believed to be sleeping with Joy Taylor. So there's a lot of nonsense with this situation. The beauty for Joy Taylor in this, though, and this is where pretty privilege comes in. She does not need a big network to sign her, because you see what Uncle Shay Shay is doing over on YouTube, right? You see what Cam and him is doing. What it is. Joy Taylor is a big enough brand and name, and because she is so appealing on the eyes, let's call it what it is.
Yeah.
If we were joking, Trip, but if Joy Taylor said, "Yo, if she released a statement tomorrow and said, I'm joining Real Fans Real Talk next week," our numbers would be through the roof. We would have sponsorship deals that we would have too many sponsorship deals at that point.
Fact.
Too many people would be in business with us. So Joy Taylor does not need a major network. All Joy Taylor needs is a platform. And whether it's on YouTube, whether it's through Twitch, whether it's through any other streaming site, you see Deion Sanders has his show through Tubi. Any platform that Joy Taylor goes to is going to do major, major numbers because she has a great following already. And she is a beautiful woman who, again, pretty privilege will fall in her favor. So she'll be just fine.
Facts. Shout out to Dion Hoops page. He says, what would success look like for Caleb in year 2? I mean, in a tough division, so I ain't gonna say win a division because I just don't think that's gonna happen. I don't know, man. 3,500 yards, 30 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Is that a good year? Good second year for him? Because again, it's just like it's not like I see them winning that division because Detroit is still so good. Minnesota is better than them. So, I mean, you just got to look at it as maybe his individual performance, making a Pro Bowl, maybe.
Yeah, I think at this point in the division, you're talking Detroit, you're talking Minnesota, you're talking Green Bay. If they win the division, that in itself is probably a miracle.
He's him. If they win that division, he's him. Okay.
Yeah. So I don't think they win a division. I think success would be cutting down on the turnovers, being more efficient offensively. Last year, he had too many start stops. I think at one point in the season, they have more punts than offensive touchdowns, which obviously that's a sign right there that the offense is just terrible. They had games last year where their defense scored more than their offense. So I guess being more efficient, and then like you mentioned, if he can get in the range of 25 to 28 touchdowns, but keep his interceptions under 14 interceptions, and probably throw for 3,800, maybe 4,000 yards, I think that'd be a very good year. In terms of team success, if they can win 8 or 9 games and be in a mix maybe for a wild card spot, that would be success. But other than that, I just don't see it. They're not going to win that division. He probably won't be a Pro Bowler because, again, we mentioned some of the good quarterbacks in the NFC. It's not just Jalen Hurts. And
quarterbacks in his division.
Yeah, in his division alone, right? You know, and then that top 10 list, if you look at that top 10 list, 5 of those guys are in the NFC. Hurts, Mayfield, Goff, McDaniels, and I think there was one other guy we didn't mention that was in there. Or 4 of the 10, I should say. 4 of the 10 were in the NFC, and then you still got Jordan Love. You still got Brock Purdy. You still got Kyler Murray. It's a lot of good quarterbacks. You still got Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
And the NFC is still good.
Are the Steelers disrespecting TJ Watt? Reports Pitt is inquiring into Watt's trade value.
Didn't he just sign a new deal?
The highest paid. So I don't see why you would be looking into trades after you just gave him that contract, but it's Pittsburgh, so I don't know. Dion, we need a little bit more clarification. Where are you hearing that they inquiring about his trade value? Because like I said, just 2 or 3 days ago, they signed him to a new extension, making him the highest paid player. Yeah. Well, listen, I hope they do trade him, man. I hope
that's disrespect. If that's disrespect, I hope my job disrespects me.
In that manner, word.
If we're calling that disrespectful.
Give me what was it 100? What do you got? 120 something million? Give me 120 something million and trade me. I don't care. Disrespect me like.
Yeah.
Imani says, Kenya Martin says LaMarcus Aldridge, Al Jefferson, and Elton Brand are better than Draymond Green, and says he can name 200 players better than Green. Is he capping? I don't know about 200 players better than Draymond Green, but I don't believe Draymond didn't make the top 75 list, right? So you should at least say 75. But out of these guys up here, I would definitely say LaMarcus Aldridge was better than Draymond Green. I may say Elton Brand was better than Draymond Green too. Al Jefferson, I don't know about. I don't believe I would put Al Jefferson over Draymond Green, but definitely LaMarcus Aldridge. I think it's clear that LaMarcus Aldridge was a better player overall than Draymond Green. But Al Jefferson, I don't know, and I'd have to go through all of the rankings to say if there's 200 players better than Draymond Green. And I generally give Draymond, even though I'm not really a fan of Draymond, but I do give Draymond a lot of respect for the work that he's put in, being a defensive player of the year. But yeah, I mean, 200 is a lot.
This is cap by Kenya Martin. First of all, Kenya Martin knows this too, because again, Kenya Martin is a very smart basketball mind.
Mm-hmm.
You can say somebody's more skilled. Like if you put Al Jefferson and Draymond Green on the court together, yeah, Al Jefferson is more skilled offensively. Same thing with Elton Brand. He's more skilled offensively. Yeah. But on a basketball court, we always talk about being able to play both sides of the court, right, Trip?
Yeah.
Those guys were not better than Draymond Green defensively.
No.
Those guys, I never saw any of those guys play point forward on their team either. So Draymond Green, though he is limited offensively, we know he's limited. There's no question about that. Draymond Green is still a highly skilled basketball player. Mm-hmm. And don't let the fact, he averages single digits, that does not speak to his impact on the game, because Draymond Green is the reason that the Warriors were ever able to even go to the lineup of depth. Draymond Green is 6'8" playing center and was so good defensively, he could guard the 5, the 4, the 3. If you put him in a pick and roll, he could hang with the guard out there. He was the reason that the Warriors were able to change the way they played as a team, because they could still play quote-unquote small ball and allow Draymond to initiate the offense and be the point forward. Yeah. So there are not 200 players better. Now, if you want to go player for player and say, hey, who was more skilled? Yeah, of course. There are plenty of guys who are more skilled than Draymond Green.
Do you agree with the LaMarcus Aldridge one, though?
I think LaMarcus Aldridge is more skilled. I wouldn't say he was better because, again, he was limited. He was a back-to-the-basket big man. Yeah. Right? But if LaMarcus Aldridge wasn't getting the ball in the mid-post or down on a block, he couldn't impact the game the way Draymond could. Because could he guard a point guard on a perimeter and then bring the ball up on a fast break and then initiate your offense? He couldn't do that. No. Right? So, again, if we're talking one-on-one style basketball, yeah, more skilled, of course. We had this conversation around Michael Beasley. Michael Beasley is one of the most gifted offensive players the NBA has ever seen. Yeah. But that does not mean that it translates to you being a better player on a basketball court in a 5-on-5 setting. If you're talking one-on-one, if you're talking one-on-one, there's 400 guys better than Draymond Green. Yeah, facts. But that's not the conversation. The list in the context of this conversation that we're having were Draymond Green being a top 100 player in the context of NBA basketball. Yes, he is that. He's proven his value. We got to stop trying to knock what he did to make it seem like, because he didn't score 20 points a game. So what? Yeah, he contributed in other ways. Right. Like we sit here and we big up Jaren Jackson. Jaren Jackson's a 7-footer who don't grab 6 rebounds a game. Yeah. Nobody talk about his limitations there. I tell you this, you can't tell me 200 players that got a better resume than Draymond Green. Right. That I will say. I know you ain't gonna tell me 200 players that got a better resume than Draymond Green. You can't. So it is what it is. Hoop Baller Scoop says Bleacher Report's top 100 NBA players ever list came out. Jordan at the 1, Braun at the 2, Kareem 3, Magic 4, Russell 5, O'Neal 6, Duncan 7, Bird 8, Wilt 9, Curry 10, Kobe 11, Durant 14, Jokic 18. A lot of former players expect Gil
thinks Kobe gets hated on. I don't. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think Kobe gets hated on. If anything, they glaze Kobe a little bit too much. Because I'm gonna be honest with you. I really don't have an issue with the guys that are in front of Kobe on this list. If you want to argue, maybe Steph, but other than that, I don't really have an issue with the list. I don't really have an issue with Steph being ahead of Kobe, but if you want to argue it the other way, I'm not going to be mad at you.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty accurate.
I'm saying like there's nothing on here. When I look at this list, I'm not like, nah, no way.
I'll say this. Shaquille O'Neal might be the one guy that's ranked a little bit too high. And I still think Shaq would be a top 10 guy. I just think Tim Duncan was better than Shaq.
That would be my only thing. But again, that's not a gaping, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I would Duncan ahead of Shaq. But
and I think Shaq would admit that too. If you put these 9 other guys with Shaq on the list, he would say the same thing. Like, look, if I'm top 10, I'm top 10. I'll take that. If you got this guy slightly above me or below whatever, I'll take that. It's tough, bro, because I personally think Kobe does get a lot of love. And we hear a lot of the stories from people who were connected to Kobe and have relationships with Kobe. I think Kobe gets a lot of love. But we can't dispute the impact those 10 guys had in front of him.
Yeah.
Even Steph. Like, Steph has changed the game of basketball. Mm-hmm. And when it's all said and done, no disrespect to Kobe, Steph's career is going to be better than Kobe. Resume-wise, everything about Steph's career is going to be greater than Kobe's.
Yeah. Like, if the list came out and Durant and Steph was 10, Durant was 11, and Kobe was 12, I'd be like, nah, y'all bugging out. You know what I'm saying? But nah, they got it. I think they pretty much got the list right, man.
I think it's pretty fair. I mean, Durant at 14, I don't know if he stays there much longer because of the things that Joker's doing.
Joker will probably pass him eventually. There's a good chance Joker will pass him.
Joker, Giannis, Luka, like those might be the 3 most obvious guys that are probably going to pass Durant that are currently playing.
Yeah. And then whoever we don't know what the future holds.
Right, and then what if we are in the middle of a Shai Gilgeous run right now?
Yeah, Shai. Or I mean, you got Wemby coming too. If he stays healthy,
he got a long way to go though. I'm talking about guys that have already accomplished something. Yeah, like Joker, Luka, and Giannis to me are the 3 guys that are probably threatening Durant's spot right now.
Yeah, I mean, Joker already got with 3 MVPs at this point. Yeah, so there's a good chance that he might be. He not even might
championship.
Yeah. So I'm okay with the list. Ron Charles says the Kobe Bryant at 11. Sometimes I think we make Kobe better than he kind of was. Personally, he's in my top 10, but if you factor everything, he might be 6 or 10-ish. I mean, listen, one thing I will say, and again, Eric, I'm not a Kobe fan. I've never been a Kobe fan, but I've also given him his respect for what he's accomplished in the league. But I think what happens with Kobe is because he died, people try to give him more than what he should be getting. And he should be getting a lot because he had an exceptional career, one of the greatest we've seen. Right? I don't think there's 15 guys that had a better career, better NBA legacy than Kobe being Bryant. Right?
I agree.
But I also feel like people try to give him an extra push because he's not here.
I agree. And it's one of the things that we talked about in studio where we said Kobe didn't get an opportunity to really get his flowers because he passed away so close to him retiring, right?
Yes. It's not like he's 70 and passed away. He's been out of the league for 4 or 5 years.
Right.
And
he didn't even get to be around for his Hall of Fame induction.
Exactly.
So he didn't get the opportunity to get the flowers from everybody and everybody praise and say, hey, look, I may have hated you as a player, but I loved your competitive spirit. I love everything you did for the game and the ambassador that he was becoming for the women's game as well. Yes. But I agree with Ron, and I agree with you as well. It's if you factor everything in, I've had this discussion with so many people because people just don't want to admit it. If you're talking skill, Kobe was more skilled than LeBron. But if you're talking resume, LeBron's resume is better than Kobe Bryant. And people don't want to hear that. People don't want to admit it. It's the truth. LeBron James came in from day one and had to be the guy. Kobe had the benefit of having, again, if you're telling me Shaquille O'Neal is a top 10 player of all time, Kobe came in as a rookie with a guy who was already an MVP caliber player. He got the benefit of growing into who he was going to become as a player.
Yeah.
Right? LeBron didn't get that. So if we're comparing just those two guys, and when you look at the rest of the list, I think that goes for all those guys. Tim Duncan had to be the guy. Bird had to be the guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? All those other guys, you look at the list, they had to be the guy. So how can you put Kobe ahead of any of those guys when Kobe got the benefit of kind of sitting back and developing into Kobe Bryant? Those guys had to come in from day one and be the guy.
Think about it. Kobe might not have been the guy until maybe year 8, 9? When did Shaq leave LA?
Well, Shaq left. That was after they lost to Detroit, right? So that was like year 6 or 7. Year 7.
Yeah, for Kobe. So you didn't. Kobe didn't become.
Kobe was good in the finals. I'm not gonna knock that. But remember, when Phil got there, that was already 3 years of Kobe.
Yeah, Kobe was great in the finals. I don't want to take away his finals performance. He was great in the finals, but you weren't the guy.
Right.
Shaq was the guy.
Kobe got to develop. Remember, Kobe made the All-Star game in year 2 when Kobe makes the All-Star game. First of all, Kobe's not even starting on the Lakers. Eddie Jones is starting. And Kobe makes the All-Star game. You look back, I think Kobe was only averaging like 9 points a game. But because of fan love, he gets voted in.
Yep.
So Kobe in the beginning was a young player still figuring it out. We knew the talent. You saw the athleticism, but he was nowhere near a guy who you could be like, hey, we could build a franchise around him right now.
Yeah.
It took years before he got to that point.
Facts. Cameron Key. Talking about back to Durant taking shots. Some people say I want to go play baseball and then I want to come back. Some people go 22 first of all, pause. On the major podcast I'm not gonna say the rest of that. That's it. But I don't know. I don't know. I'm not gonna say he was glazing Braun, or more like, or was he glazing Braun more, or was it more so taking a shot at MJ?
It was both.
Because I was just surprised he even said that, because that was kind of crazy to say.
First of all, it was a super glaze by Kevin Durant. I also thought the comment was a little disrespectful to MJ, not just because you taking a shot about like, oh, some people say want to play baseball. Let's put it in a proper context, because I know we have certain followers and supporters who may have been very young when Mike retired the first time.
Yeah.
Mike didn't retire from basketball to go play baseball because he didn't love basketball anymore. His father had just died. His father's passion was baseball, and he always wanted Michael to play baseball, and Michael played baseball growing up. So almost as like a connection to his dad, Mike retires the way he did and says, I'm going to go play baseball.
Yeah.
And so the reason I found it disrespectful was because it was taken as a jab, as if Mike couldn't handle the pressure of the NBA anymore. So he decided to go play baseball for a year and a half. He did it to honor his father.
Yeah.
You know, and again, I know we got some younger viewers who may not been around or don't really know that's what the story was. But if you go back and watch The Last Dance, they highlighted in The Last Dance, Michael's father passes away that summer after they win their first three-peat. Within weeks of burying his dad, Mike puts out the press conference, I'm retiring, I'm going to play baseball. So Mike wasn't going to retire had his father not passed away.
Yeah. Then who knows?
Mike
Maybe
would have kept playing.
straight.
Right. Mike would have kept playing. That's first. Secondly, it's crazy for a guy like Kevin Durant to say that, right? When in this era, a lot of these guys do load management because they don't want to play back-to-back nights. Go back and look at the stat sheets. Look how many years that Mike was playing 75 plus games, was barely missing 4 or 5 games a year.
I think them every year for Chicago, except the year he got hurt. I think his second season when he got hurt.
You're telling me a guy who consistently plays 75 plus games every year,
Yeah.
who had 2 3-peats, participated in 2 Olympic teams, was clubbing all night, gambling, drinking it up all night, and still busting everybody's ass. He was scared to keep playing? Mike wasn't scared to keep playing. He did it out of respect for his father because he knew that's what his father always wanted.
Yeah.
And it granted him the opportunity to grieve his dad because since he was playing minor league baseball, he didn't have the same attention on him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, Kevin Durant, who I think is a great historian of the game, that was one of them situations where he knows he was wrong. I think, I'm not saying he should apologize, but he should say, hey, look, I spoke out of context because realistically, you know, to say some people want to go play baseball as if like he didn't want to play basketball. No, he was grieving his dad, bro. Everybody grieves differently. He was grieving his father who had just suddenly passed away, was murdered.
Yeah, facts.
I thought that was wild disrespectful of Kevin Durant. And I thought, and you know, that was him glazing Braun. And I thought that was an opportunity for Braun too to be like, nah, yo, you can't do that. You can't. We know why he stepped away.
All right, we got 2 comments left. Then we're gonna get ready to get up out of here. Then we gonna be at 2 hours, Eric. Y'all, man. Yeah. Shout out to Pooh. I told you we was gonna save your hip hop question. Tupac in 1996 was top rapper in the game, and he passes in 96. Jay's first album was out and had solid singles out. But if Pac lives, is Jay who he is today? Is Tupac where Jay-Z is? Did Pac being gone help Jay? No. Jay was gonna be who Jay was, no matter what. One, I don't think Pac being around would have stopped because one, Pac wasn't even trying to be on death row like that no more towards the end of that mess, and a lot of the issues that Pac had came during his tenure at death row. Jay was gonna be who Jay was. Jay, so that's like saying if MJ didn't retire early with Kobe, no, like when you got talent like that, you're gonna be who you're gonna be regardless of who's there. And think about how many nice rappers we got, nice in any field that we in. There's always gonna be more than one nice person, and whatever genre we talking about, whether it be music, sports, science, whatever. There's always going to be multiple guys that have an elite level, that get to an elite level. So no, Jay was going to be Jay no matter what.
First of all, hustlers are going to be hustlers. Like, let's not act like Jay was a one-hit wonder. Let's not act like Jay had a major machine backing him. Shout out to Pooh, because I know Pooh's a little younger than us. For those of you that don't remember, every label turned down Jay-Z, which then led to the creation of Rockefeller Records. They had to go independent because nobody would sign Jay-Z. Mm-hmm. So he didn't have no major marketing push or no major label that was backing his albums and pushing Jay-Z to, we need more music. Jay-Z always, from the beginning, always said, I'm going to do this one album, then I'm out. If you go back and listen to Reasonable Doubt, he hinted at that. I'm doing this one album and I'm done. Because Jay-Z was a hustler, always been a hustler. That's first. Secondly, there is no guarantee for as great as Pac and Big were that they would have been able to continue to adapt with the times. Yeah. LL Cool J was at the top of the game in 96. Why LL ain't continue on?
Yeah, facts.
Right? DMX was at the top of his game in 99. Why DMX has trouble? Why Nas had trouble continuing on? There were a lot of great artists, rappers, lyricists around the time Jay was out. That's why I hate when people say this, and I don't mean that about you, Pooh, but people love to try to bring up other rappers that were out as if like, oh, because they fell off. Jay kept grinding.
Yeah.
Jay kept hustling. Jay kept putting out music. And then Jay's greatest strength as a hustler was Jay learned how to network and started before Wayne did it. Jay would jump on your remix.
Yep.
Juvenile said as much. When Juvenile had how he said it.
Yep.
Biggest feature he ever got was when Jay-Z jumped on the song.
Yes.
Right? So Jay-Z learned how to continue to adapt with the times and understanding that whatever artist might be hot, cool. I'll jump on a record with you. Cool. I'll put you on my record.
Yeah.
Right? When he got Bun B and Pimp C on Big Pimpin', he understood their demographic. He understood what type of hold they had down there in the South. Let me get him on the song. So that's first. Jay also said, right, when he referenced people saying if Big hadn't died, you wouldn't have been in this position. And then Jay said, if Big hadn't died, y'all would have got the commission.
Exactly.
Right? Y'all acting like Jay and Big weren't really good friends. When they did Brooklyn's Finest and I Love the Dough, you could hear it in the skits. In the video, when they talk about we're gonna play Monopoly with real money, they already had a relationship. So they wasn't beefing. It wasn't like they looked at it as competitors. They went to
school together.
Right. They went to school together. They had known each other since high school. They were competitors, both trying to reach the pinnacle of the game.
Yeah.
I don't think, and Big was.
And Big wasn't even that guy like that when I Love the Dough came out. When those records was coming out, it was not like Big was that guy in rap, and then he put the stamp on hold.
It was
Big
a Brooklyn thing.
In his career too.
Yeah, it was a Brooklyn thing. But to me, I always say Jay's greatest strength was his ability to adapt to the times. Yeah. And that's why even now to this day, when God Did comes out and Jay's able to give you that type of verse, or like What's Free with Meek, or you know what I'm saying? I done seen it all with Jeezy. Like these are records throughout the years where Jay's just continue to show you, like I can adapt to whatever artist you want to put on the track. I can be right there with them and show you why I'm a great in my own right. Jay would have been a great no matter what.
For a Jay record. When a new Jay verse drop, everybody's talking about it. Whether you love it or hate it, you talking about it.
That's a fact. Jay was going to be legendary regardless, bro. It would have been nice if Pac, Big, and Jay could have all been competitive against each other. It would have been nice.
Yeah, see, but listen,
at the same time, there's no guarantee that Pac and Big would have been able to transition with the game the way Jay-Z did. Because again, I highlighted LL was already a household name. LL was bigger than Jay.
Yeah. And Pac might have been wanting to explore his acting career more.
Right. But again, you talking 96, Nas was bigger than Jay. LL was bigger than Jay.
Yeah.
So yet somehow Jay was able to
go around and they
asked him.
Why
Jay was going to be Jay regardless. Hustlers are going to be hustlers regardless. And any real hustler going to tell you that. Because a real hustler going to get money no matter where they at. Jay-Z was going to get to it no matter what. Does he become the GOAT? Maybe not. I don't know if he becomes the GOAT. But Jay would have been in the conversation.
Facts. I'm going to read this last comment. We'll get to it next week because we haven't seen it yet. But Hoopballer Scoop says, fellas, it's a female hooper named Tina Hutchinson who played in the 80s and has a great story, but she feels she's been somewhat blackballed. She held the freshman record for most points for 40 years till Juju broke it, but wasn't flown in or they don't give her love. She scored 41 versus Cheryl Miller in USC, and some say she was as good as Cheryl, but if I tag her, maybe y'all could bring her on to tell a story. Y'all would love her story, so I'll tag y'all later. All right, so yeah, do that, Scoop, Hoopballer Scoop. We'll look into it before next show. Eric, really quick because we got to get up out of here because
shout out to all the supporters. See you guys Wednesday night for an episode of the Sanchez Show, 7:30 p.m.
I'm gonna just say happy birthday to Cliff again. Salute, brother. Make sure y'all following us on all our social media: Instagram, Twitter at Real Fan Talk, Facebook.com/Real Fans Real Talk. And subscribe to that YouTube channel, youtube.com/For the Fans Productions. If you're not in the New York City area, don't worry. You can still watch us from anywhere in the world. Just hit that website, realfansrealtalk.com. Click the red button on the homepage. You can watch from anywhere in the world. But if you are in New York, Thursday nights, Verizon 43, BPN 2, 8 to 9 p.m. Thursday nights. Y'all watch us. Y'all keep showing us that love, and we're going to keep kicking it back out to y'all. Oh, and subscribe to the two best podcasts moving. That's the Sanchez Show podcast and the Real Fans Real Talk podcast. With that being said, for myself, Trip Young, my brother, Eric Sanchez, a.k.a. Legend in 2 Games, we up out of here. Peace.
This is Deion Grant from the New York Giants, Super Bowl champ, and you're watching Real Fans Real Talk.